Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to this webinar. What's it called? Break free from your adoptee struggles and create the life that you desire. Sorry, I've got one of my guides giving me a little tickle in my ear. So we're just letting people join in. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for coming. And so before I start any live or class or webinar or coaching session, healing session, I like to draw a card. And today I'm drawing from the Akashic Realm Messengers. And we've got Amalek, and he is the guide of light, and he helps humankind to deal with personal shadows, and he appears as a warrior who only needs love and light as his weapons to defeat fear, teaching that love and light is all you need to illuminate your shadow. And I think that's really poignant for today, seeing as we're talking about shadows and what's holding us back from living the rich and rewarding life that we desire as adoptees. So, those away. I really, really appreciate you for your time this evening or daytime, wherever you are in the world. If you're going to be watching this on the replay, much love to you as well for giving up your time. And if you're here live with me now, it's going to be really awesome. And I'm excited to share what I've got to share with you. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into my slides because I do have slides. I tend to go completely off piece, which means that we may, if I don't have slides, I'd be here for much longer, or you'd be here for much longer, sorry. And so I like to have these slides to keep me on track. So, and we've had a bit of a tech issue. My Mac has blown up, so I've lost the screen, so I'm on another computer. But anyway, we're here and we're getting going. And so let me just move that over here. And so what I'm about to share with you is a unique method that not only builds the foundations for a life that you love, but allows you to change your sabotaging thoughts and feelings whilst fully aligning to your own true choices. And what is a true choice? Really, it is creating something, asking for something, choosing something that doesn't have any limitations attached to it or conditions attached to it. So creating a life that you love, essentially. And if you don't love the choice that you're making, then choose again. And that's the beauty of making choices, is that in this 10 seconds, we can choose to be here. And in the next 10 seconds, we can choose a different outcome. And as adoptees, we feel that maybe we haven't had those choices. We felt that we were chosen, or we didn't have the choice about who we went to. And we believed that we needed fixing because we had to fit in with the tribe. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true, because what happened to us in our past can absolutely be changed. And you're in the right place if you're ready to become unshackled, untethered, unchained, and seriously unapologetic, because really it's time to free yourself and align to your success, whatever that success looks like for you. So my goal is to show you the science and the techniques you must understand to change your attraction point. And we've all heard about manifesting and abundance and what have you. and we've heard about The Secret, I'm sure. But if you, there was a bit missing, and that's what I'm hoping to show you this evening. So I really appreciate you. We're going to be discussing the 5 steps to consciously create a life that you love. I'm going to be sending you a closed eye process that you can do in your own time. And we're going to be talking about the 7 mistakes that unconsciously sabotage your success. And this is for you if you're an entrepreneur, an aspirational adoptee, and you can't quite understand why you have not fully created the life that you desire. There's always something that's kind of been holding you back, and you wanted something different, but you didn't know how to get it. And also, if you're ready to do whatever it takes, you're fed up with that push-pull that we kind of experience as adoptees, taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And here's the key: we have this ability to recode our brain, because science tells us that the neurons that fire together wire together. And neuroscience has this amazing data behind it and research. And we've all heard about NLP, hypnosis, EFT, and whilst all those are fantastic, I know from my experience being in the self-development world for the past 12 years that they can take an absolute age. And the beauty of this recoding our thoughts, beliefs, and habits is that it's instantaneously, and we can start to take action on what we really, really, really want. I'm sorry if you can hear my children in the background. I think they're cooking in the kitchen. So finally, we have this way to recode the brain using the superconscious, and the superconscious is the quantum field. We all know about the conscious and the unconscious. Well, there's something bigger. We all know that we're all energy, aren't we? So the superconscious is this swirling quantum energetic field that we can tap into to change past lives, generational patterns, previous experiences within our childhood, to then be able to create this future that we desire. And it's all about our conscious creation. So maybe you've been told your thoughts create your reality, and to some extent this is true, but we're actually a series of habits. So if you think about brushing your teeth, and if you have been brushing your teeth with your right hand and you're then told to brush your teeth with the left hand, it's going to be a bit clunky, isn't it? Because we've got the habit of brushing with the right hand. It's a bit like, for me, driving a car on the right hand side, but then if I go to a different country where they drive on the left side, I'm not really very good at it. So perhaps you have a memory of being teased at school about being adopted. I know that I did, and that was lodged into my brain, that was lodged into my memories, into my body, and stopped me showing up as the best person that I could, because I was fearful of being teased, of being ridiculed, of being a fraud. And so we are able to change our thoughts and our habits and create a different reality. So listen on to understand how to align your thoughts and your habits to your desires, and how to magically manifest your dreams without struggle. Because how we eliminate negative habits that are preventing us from having the life we desire is epigenetics. This is a study of how your behaviors and your environment can cause changes that affect the way that your genes work. And that's pretty interesting, isn't it? If you think about your childhood and how you grew up and the conditioning and society and the teachers and the peers all has shaped you to be who you are. But we as adoptees have this extra layer of the gene pool that we were born into that we potentially know nothing about. And that is this double whammy that's going on that we are actually able to change. So if you're feeling trapped in your past and stressed about your future, you may be suffering from your adoptee identity. And imagine making choices because you love them rather than because that's what people expect of you. Rather than wanting to be significant or validated or approved of and not be rejected, abandoned, and all those other low vibe emotions that come from being an adopted person. And the milestone approach, which is what I'll be talking about, is works on any trauma, any limitation, and any generational pattern, whether you know about them or not. And the strategy employed within that approach, which I'm sharing with you in this video, or this webinar, is a simple way of turning your life from your current reality into your desired reality, simply and effectively. And when you understand and utilize this method, so you're going to be unstoppable. You're going to have this really strong self-belief and you're going to have a self-acceptance and moreover self-love. Because I wonder how many of you don't really love yourself 100%. And I only know that because I've been there too. And you are meant to be on this earth. So you will have this true belonging. And I think that's the key here, is belonging in your own skin, belonging to who you really are. And no need for rooting around in the past, trying to make sense of it, or spending hours in the therapist chair. This is, as I say, instant. It is incredible. And my desire is for you to be stepping forwards with ease and harmony into the future from those true choices that you're going to choose. And that's what the meditation that I'll be sending out is going to help you visualize and really start to align to what it is, your purpose, and how to live your life. We're going to have you focusing on moving forwards rather than looking over your shoulder or trying to make sense of what's happened in the past. And it's just, this is the same method that I've used to create my own self-love, my self-acceptance, and my own true belonging. So I'm Emma Greenslade, creator of the Conscious Adoptee Incubator, and I'm honoured to be guiding other adoptees all around the world to transform their life and let go of the past so they can step forwards into the future and love yourself from the inside out. And because of this system, I've been able to significantly reduce weight, have a healthy and vital body, create a life I love, loving waking up every day, pay down debts, massive debts, drop this adoptee mentality of being a bit of a victim, and live a life of freedom. But it wasn't always that way. Seriously, trauma used to follow me around like a bad smell. I've been in emotionally abusive and physically abusive, toxic relationships. I've been a constant people pleaser. I've been addicted to drugs and alcohol. I used to have a multi-million-pound business, which I lost. And ended up in multi six figures of debt. And I've had rejection from both my adopted parents and my birth parents. But even through all that, I knew that there was more. And I started reading books, going to seminars, and that's kind of when I feel that I really started to change things for the better. It was what kind of this spiritual growth. I was lucky to be living in India, where there's a beautiful place to learn new things. I got back in contact with I came back to my spiritual gifts, and started being, this clairvoyance and using my intuition, and that then helped me and guided me on the next path and brought people to me that would be able to teach me. And it was just this beautiful experience, and it was so graceful and easy, whereas before I had been hustling. I wouldn't say, I mean, the big business that I had, it was always pretty easy because I just followed the steps, but I hadn't been listening truly and faithfully. And I decided from the moment that I lost everything, and I lost my business, my home, my marriage, in in a couple of, I'm going to say a couple of months, but it was probably maybe around about 4 weeks that I lost that, and started on this journey of creating my life on my terms, and what I would have in it and who I'd have in it to enhance my life, rather than me trying to please them, please everybody around me, and try to fit in with whichever group that I was with. I don't know if you've ever tried to fit in, or you feel that you don't fit on, or you don't belong. If that's you, then please let me know in the chat if that has been you and the experiences you've had. But honestly, the results were really slow. It did take an age, and I felt like I was still in this battle. I just want it to be better. I just want this, I just want that. And it was this force, and it was exhausting. And although the results came, I managed to put food on the table. I've got 2 children. I was lucky to be living still in India, but there was just this inner conflict that was going on. So I studied, and I studied more and more and more, and all these things I have studied and more. I haven't counted up how many certifications and courses and days and conferences that I've done. But I've done a lot of stuff because I still didn't feel good enough. And everywhere I looked, everyone seemed to be winning. I was still pissed off, and I was broke, and I still felt like a failure. And I could never hold on to success. And have you ever felt like that? Kind of got me thinking, why? With all the healers, the books, the courses, therapists, living in India, in Goa, where there's a smorgasbord, meditation teachers, gurus, how is it that I still wasn't successful? Because what I worked out, and I've also been in therapy, I was trying to fix myself. And that was a light bulb moment for me. And what I realised, it was that fixing myself was the missing piece. And I've worked with thousands of people who've experienced amazing results from my sessions. But still, for me, I still wasn't getting the results that I wanted, because I was creating this life as an adoptee, and it was that piece. I'm creating this life as an adoptee, the mentality, the identity of an adopted person. Co-creating a life of problem solving gave me purpose. Remember all the trauma that I told you about? And trouble just seemed to follow me around because I had this, if I'm fixing something, then that's okay. I'm still moving forwards. But actually, it was just taking over my life. I've got 2 teenagers, and the drama, it was just kind of the same for me as an adult. I was living kind of a bit like a child or a teenager as an adult. So shifting out of this drama and trauma for me was the missing piece. But dropping the adoptee identity and letting go of the past was more so. Yes, we were adopted. We were adopted as children, but we're adults now. And we can start being adults, just as adults, without the label of being adopted. And I wonder how many of that, how that has landed for you, because I realized all that stops me was unconscious. It was just held in my body, in my mind, living in this frustration and struggle, poor health, high blood pressure, excess weight, scarcity, difficulties with the ex-husband, and all I wanted was love and freedom and security and health and happiness. So I was out of emotional alignment with what I really wanted. Everything that was stopping me was unconscious. And you can't change something if it's unconscious unless somebody's going to be helping you do some hypnosis or bringing you into those unconscious memories. But we are, as adopted people, master manifestors. We lost one set of parents and we manifested another. So with that in mind, you can manifest anything. And after trauma is seriously challenging, but we can choose to be something different. We can choose to not get sucked into this trauma, or allowing your identity to pull you back. And this was the thing, is every time I had a little bit of success, my sabotaging patterns would kick in and my identity would pull me back. It was that 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Why couldn't it just be easy like it was with the multi-million-pound business? This was the real key for me. This is my purpose, of helping people with their adoptee mentality and releasing these sabotaging patterns and bringing about desires that we can keep hold of. And this is the magic. This is the current reality that the majority of my clients are in. Life sucks. You're not enough, living in scarcity, don't feel worthy, and just like me, trying to fix yourself. Going for the next thing. Remember all those courses that I did? Going for the next thing, thinking that that's going to solve the problem, whether it be EFT, I don't know, there's so many now, isn't there? Theta healing, meditation, visualization, or if I changed my food, or if I start doing a bit of extra exercise at the gym. Trying to fix yourself. And what happens? So let's use the weight as an example, because it's a really cool example. So we're going to start the diet on Monday, or perhaps it's you're going to stop doing something that isn't healthy for you. And so on Monday, you start your diet really well, but by Thursday, you have had a shit day. You've not woken up on time. Your alarm didn't wake you up. You're late for work. You are running out the door, and somebody cuts you up and flicking the finger and cursing you and cussing you in the car, and you then get to work and the boss, you're late, and you think, oh, and somebody gives you a bit more grief on the phone, think, I'm just going to have a chocolate bar. And then lunchtime comes and you want something different that's not the healthy choice that you know that your diet is supposed to give you. And then by the evening, your day has just got so much worse. You think, I'll have a glass of wine now, blow the diet. I've really messed up. Because you've now had a glass of wine, you're going to choose pizza or pasta or something else that's really carby. And before you know it, your diet is out the window. You think, well, there's no point me carrying on. I'll start again on Monday. Have you ever done that? I mean, okay, perhaps not all of you can recognize the diet, but you can think of something that you've kind of wanted to change, and it's an effort because you need to start changing those habits and behaviors. But not only that, you've got this ego that wants to keep you safe, and ego does not like change. Ego hates change. Ego is there to literally keep you safe from the saber-toothed tiger. But we don't have saber-toothed tigers anymore. So ego is a little bit defunct. But ego, so you start moving to what you want, this desired life of better now, more money, abundance, joy, health, and impact. This is your future self. You keep thinking about your future self, But ego doesn't understand that that's what you want. He just wants to keep you safe in your current reality. You're never going to get to this desired reality because ego keeps pulling you back. But what happens is you start out moving towards your desired reality. Ego kicks in and brings you back to your current reality. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And you start out again the next Monday and start moving towards your desired reality. But then something happens and you keep coming back to the current reality, and you can see now that we keep doing this circle and cycle, and it's like you're on a roundabout, never getting off, never being able to fix yourself, constantly thinking that there's something wrong with you. And we call this an oscillating pattern. And that, my darlings, is what's keeping you stuck. The identity doesn't want to die, and you keep needing to fix yourself. And just like I was, as soon as I got close to my goal, my identity would pull me back because that's who I was. And I want to tell you that you're perfect just the way you are, and you do not need to fix yourself. You just need to change the structure of how you're creating and what you're moving towards. Do you recognize these 6 sabotaging patterns? They were so key for me and so many of my clients. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm insignificant. I'm invisible. Another one for me was I'm a fraud. I'm not capable, which probably would be that fraud one. And I'm not perfect. Again, I'm a fraud. I have to be perfect to stay in this family. I don't want to be sent back to the children's home. I didn't know that I couldn't be sent back. I was adopted in a court of law. But not being good enough and always trying to better myself was significant. And So if you take one thing from today, is that oscillating pattern, but also being in the future feeling now of what it is that you really, really want, and being satisfied with everything that you have now, but you can have more. So that's where your gratitude comes in. If you've not got a gratitude practice, then I suggest you start one. Being grateful for what you've got. It is the most profound practice, and it just snowballs. More and more opportunities come to you for you to feel grateful. Abundance. So, sorry, I now just need to stop my screen and find the next slides. As I said, I told you that I had a bit of a nightmare with the tech. So we're on this one now. Hopefully you can all see it. Hang on, yep, here we go. So in this, so then the 4 patterns that are keeping you stuck are holding on to the past, being an overthinker, being fearful. Now, fear is really excitement without breath. But overthinking is definitely something that we do, constantly going over scenarios that haven't quite gone quite right, or thinking negatively about ourselves. And if you get headaches, then my suggestion would be that you're actually overthinking, talking too much. And then when I have my ideal body, then I'll be able to get a new husband. Nonsense. When I have more money, then I'll be able to whatever it is. So it's key to align your mindset to what it is that you desire. So in the 5-step process that I work with my clients and teach them before we do any recoding, is we choose what it is we want to create. And so my suggestion always is, if you don't know what it is that you want to create, then we've got 4 choices that we give to begin with, but that you will start aligning to. And that is, I create a life I love. I am the predominant creative force in my life. Sorry, I've got my mind off. My mind is gone. I have health and vitality, and I'm the predominant creative force in my life. I live my true nature and purpose. What is your true nature and purpose? And perhaps you don't know yet. Perhaps you do know. Drop it into the comments, into the chat. I'd love to know. So we choose something that we want to create. And that's also where these beautiful meditation visualizations going to take you, that I'm going to send to you after this. We then step into the emotion of the end result, of what it is that you want to create. How are you going to feel? What emotions are going to come up for you? What will you see around you? And we really take you into that place. And then we come out of that and we notice what it is in our current reality that's different to our desired reality, how we're feeling, how we're thinking, the habits that we're doing, the behaviors that we do. What is it that we're not enjoying about the current reality. So we're starting to create this tension structure. Then we do the recode, which is unplugging from the old identity. And that's where we work in the superconscious way and doing the recodes. And my spirit guides come in. And there's a list of different things that we use to recalibrate you to the future. And then the fifth step is the aligned action. What action are you going to take to get to that desired reality? So let's just go back to the weight example. So the thing would be that step one is you're choosing to have a healthy and vital body. Maybe it's flexible. You can wear clothes that are really fitting well and you enjoy putting on the clothes. And you're choosing foods that are really good for you and not drinking too much, and you get the picture. That's what you're choosing, and the how will you feel when you've got that result? And how are you feeling now? Wow, feeling overweight, sluggish, not being able to keep up with the kids, eating as an emotional eating, maybe emotionally drinking, whatever it is that you're emotionally doing, and stopping yourself from having that healthy and vital body. We then do the recode, and then the aligned action would be to not sit down so much. It could be just something as simple as that, and to go out for a few walks in nature, which is also going to be really good for your mental health. So just very simple but very profound. So your reality currently is what you believe is possible. And your reality is also, your current reality is what you believe is possible, and your desired reality is also what you believe is possible. But if you've not had anybody showing you what really is possible, then how do you know that you can change it? Because also, what was impossible, what is impossible today is tomorrow's reality. You think about, Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. We never realised that. And then Usain Bolt, he dashed in under 10 seconds. Being able to fly, that wasn't possible. Well, I don't know when it was they flew. Mandela said apartheid should not rule, and Mahatma Gandhi stopped the British rule in India. Stephen Hawking was completely paralysed, but he's the most respected physicist of our time. And the law of flotation was not discovered by the contemplating of sinking things. There's so many examples of possibilities, and I'm not going to keep going through them, but let's just look at adopted people. So Nelson Mandela, did you know he was adopted? Debbie Harry, Steve Jobs, Marilyn Monroe, Michelle Visage. There's so many people that are adopted, and there's so many different examples of people that have had success. So nothing is impossible. So why do we not have exactly what we want? Because we sit in the limitation. We've never been consciously taught to create. Were you taught to consciously create as a child? I wasn't. Oh, sorry. We were told to be a better boy or a better girl, or a good girl or a good boy. we were told, don't do that, or whatever. And like I said before, trying to fit in with our family, trying to fix ourselves to be like them. So instead of fixing yourself, you need to have no resistance to having it. No resistance to having what you want, because you cannot grow an abundance forest from a scarcity seed. I absolutely love that phrase. You cannot grow an abundance forest from a scarcity seed. I wonder how many of you have got these scarcity seeds just lodged in your body. Now, the great thing is about these recodes is, I'm going to use this one actually, this example. So these boulders are like the sabotaging patterns, the scarcity seeds. Some are big, some are bigger, and they're just kind of in the way. So this is you back here at the beginning, and you want to get the other side where your desired reality is, but you've got all this in the way. Now how are you going to get around it? So in the recodes, when we work in the superconscious, we can just fire these boulders out of the way and rewire the neurons. So going back to the brain of neurons wiring together, that fire together, neurons firing together, wire together. At the moment, the neurons are apart, and there's kind of this, we're just not connected. And so in between these neurons are the boulders. And so when we work in the superconscious, we're able to just blast these boulders out of the way, so the neurons can start to knit together and form new patterns. And this is round the wrong way. You will never be it until you see it, which is why I'm going to gift you this meditation, because your goal violates your identity. Your identity is going to just keep you in this loop that I showed you earlier, because you're not being it. So success is not personal. It's not because you've not done enough courses. It's not because you're not journaling or visualizing or chanting or whatever it is that the personal development world has told you to do. It's because it's structural. No, and energy always takes the path of least resistance, and we're all energy, aren't we? So today I go to a bioresonance lady, I'm a lady of that age, so I go and get help with my hormones. And so I sit on this mat. I don't know if you know about bioresonance, but it's a mat, and it kind of tells you where it's basically energy, and it tells you where your body's not functioning properly. But the amazing thing is that me and this lady, we've only met each other a couple of times, but we are so in tune with each other that I can tell what she's thinking, and she can tell, and we fire off each other. So for instance, we were talking about me not being able to we were talking about foods that I can eat, and I said, so can I eat eggs? And she goes, well, I'm just about to test eggs to see if you can do that. And then she said, oh, when do you want to come back? And I said, well, what's normal? Because I think I'd really like to come back in 3 weeks. Now she said, yes, exactly, I think 3 weeks. So my point I'm trying to make is that we are energy, and so when our energy is powerful, we keep moving forwards. And if you look at a river, it kind of meanders, so I'm doing this, meanders around, and it would move round the boulders. So the river takes the path of least resistance to get you to where you are. And that's kind of, a river is a structure, isn't it? So, sorry, there's a slide missing there. But what I want to just say is the beliefs and feelings are not reality. They are programs that you've picked up through perception, conditioning, environment, generations. And that's on both sides, remember. But they can change. And the study of epigenetics and neuroscience tells us that this is possible. And why is that important? Because biodecoding, we must be clear about our timelines. And genetics is so important, because whether you believe it or we bring forwards. So you were an egg in your grandmother's tummy, because your birth mother was born from your grandmother, and she started creating eggs in her ovaries as soon as when she was developing in the womb. So we can find out through our sessions when a situation or a memory occurred, when a condition occurred that has now been brought forwards through the generations. I mean, that's incredible when you think about it, isn't it? And whether you believe in past lives or not, I've had experience of past lives, but we also bring those forwards as well. Now I'm going to pop this this neuron wiring together, because it's pretty neat, but I haven't got the video because of these tech issues. So we're rewiring the brain to recode, having the right tools to recode from a superconscious level is key. And how do we do that? Well, Gary Flint, you can Google Dr. Gary Flint. He talks about memories from the basis of our active experience: unconscious, conscious, and superconscious. And so he's saying self-conscious, that begins at the age of 7, and it's the domain of thought and overthinking and believing the grass is greener, trying to fix yourself, and something else is available if we work hard enough. The unconscious is the part that you can train. For instance, speaking in a different language, brushing your teeth with the opposite hand, driving on the opposite side of the road. Your neurology reflects just one side of your body speaking in your mother tongue. And then the third is the superconscious. And this has been available across all time and space, an innate intelligence that turned you from a sperm and egg into a cell, into multiple cells, into a heartbeat, into a human. And our DNA has 7 generations of patterning and coding, according to Bert Hellinger. So, excuse me. And Bert Hellinger, he's all, you can Google him, he's a family constellation. So we get our looks and our health conditions from our birth parents, as well as emotions. But we also pick up emotions and habits from our birth parents. And we can have this amnesia to our unconscious memories, which is why you don't remember certain things, like you don't remember being taken away from your birth mother. You don't remember certain events, I don't remember much between the age of 7 and 10, because that's the identity, the ego keeping me safe. It just kind of stores things in the body instead of bringing them to the surface all the time, which is why you might get a gut reaction if you hear a piece of music or a particular smell. I'm sure you've got recollections that can come to mind. And the superconscious memory is all three of these things. It's the self-conscious, the unconscious, and the superconscious. And it's this field of information that we're designing ourselves from something bigger than we are. And it's an expansive collective. And when we change ourselves, we can change this ripple effect of changing the people around us. So if I change something about myself, it's definitely going to change for my children. And we can break the cycle. You can recode any memory that's causing resistance in your field, so you can just be you. And to me, that just sounds magical. And I learned learning to take the right action, because, oh my goodness, how many times have you wanted to make a decision and you've been a little bit, oh God, is it the right decision to make? I mean, when I had big decisions to make, I used to fast. Seriously, fast. I would fast for a weeks on sometimes if it was a big decision. When we were moving back from India to England, I fasted for a week to be able to have a clean vessel to make that decision. And now I found a much easier way without all that hard work of not eating. And I mean, it's good to fast, but not all the time when you want to make a decision, or second guessing you, or procrastinating. How many of you procrastinate about things that you want to do but just don't feel that you can do them? And by connecting in with the superconscious, you're going to start using your intuition. So that's what I was kind of honing with this back in the day when I started out with the fasting, is I was really getting clear into my intuition so I could have that gut reaction. So again, be in your future feeling now and truly so satisfied with everything that you have. The now is the feeling of the future. And we must let go of trying to get somewhere or get from something. We are here in the presence, because as adopted people, we are trying to get away from the pain of whatever has happened to you, and get to pleasure. So we're trying to move away from something and towards something. Most of my clients are trying to move away from something, these deep-seated emotions. So it's key to step into the end result of emotion and take aligned action. And the result is generally happiness, isn't it? Having the life that you love, the life that you want to get up to. And the problem is you've been trying to create an outcome for years, but you still don't have it because the ego is keeping you stuck. You've got these sabotaging patterns keeping you stuck. So the mistake, number one, is trying to heal the current reality instead of just letting it go. Like these dandelion flowers, and when you blow them, they just puff away, don't they? Well, you've got that song, Let It Go from Frozen. I know it's easier said than done, but sometimes when you're holding on to something so hard, you just need to hand it over to that something bigger than you, whatever it may be, whether you believe in spirit, God, universe. Mistake number 2, working on your conscious mind. All decisions are made from your unconscious blueprint, and your unconscious blueprint is those decades from childhood or previous generational patterns. Mistake number 3 is focusing on new strategies and thinking you don't know enough. Oh my goodness, if I'd known this, I would have saved myself years of learning different stuff. I mean, it's cool because I've got all these different tools to call upon in all of my sessions, but that was key. Number 4, thinking you will change when you have that result. You must see it and be it before you have it. Have you been out of emotional alignment with what you desire? Perhaps you can think of how you're trying to grow something from that scarcity seed. Thinking that you can't change. I remember my ex-husband telling me he can't change, just like the leopard can't change its spots. If you want to change something about yourself, I can assure you it is possible. And mistake number 7 is trying to do it all yourself. You cannot see your blind spots. You must have a coach, a healer, somebody that can pick up things for you. I have a coach and a healer. I've just told you about one that I've been to do today, who can be able to pinpoint things for me. Even working on my chakras, I can do that. I can work on myself, but having somebody's eyes is much better for me. I used to ride professionally, but I ride horses professionally, and I would always have a coach to tell me when something was looking really good. If you want a transformation, investing in yourself is key. And the 5-step method to magically manifest anything you desire in any of your life without the risk of failure. So remember, it's choosing what do you really want and how would that feel. You can take pictures of these. Creating the structural tension. How do you want to feel? And what will it be like? These are actually around the wrong way. So this is number 2, is stepping into the emotion of the end result. What is the next action you must take? And then this is number 3. What is it like now? Number 4 is recoding and unplugging from the reality, blasting those boulders and the limiting beliefs, working out what your conflicts are, what your judgments are, what your reservations and stories that stop you. And then number 5, taking aligned action. This is a really good question. What benefits come from the resistance that you're creating from the life that you are desiring? So I use the tools of Access Consciousness. I don't know if you've heard of them. And they are quite in your face, I'm going to say. So they would say, what stupidity are you using to stop the life that you are choosing? And you don't need to make sense of it. your brain or your mind will bring an answer. And what stops you from having that life that you're choosing? You can destroy and uncreate. Pod and poc, right and wrong, good and bad, all shorts, nines and beyonds. And that's just a phrase that they use to release it immediately. So you must let go, change your environment. If it's not working for you, definitely change it. And that also goes with the people that you're hanging around with. Remember, you're the focus of the five people that you hang around with. If they're all negative Nancy's, and then you're naturally going to be like that. You have to change your peer group. You need to also change your behavior, your beliefs. Let go of family entanglements. That's from your adoptive family and also your birth family. Let go of the stories that are holding you back. Release the emotions, the sabotaging patterns, the rules that you've bought into, whatever they may be. We have rules around all sorts of things, don't we? Our country, our state, our house. Let go of the identity that has brought you this far, that adopted identity. And let go of your feelings of incompleteness. What mantra could you start today that you can start feeling complete and belonging where you are, in your skin, doing what you're doing? Oh, here's the fifth one. I don't know what's happened to these slides, sorry. So that goes up here, unplug from reality. The fifth is action. What action can you take today that's going to have you moving towards the future that you desire? I suggest 15 minutes meditation per day. Now, I've got this really cool thing. I've been learning about PQ. And so you can do both fingers. Even if you just did this for 2 minutes a day, 6 times a day, you are going to start reconditioning your brain and body, because you are focusing exquisitely on the ridges onto your fingers, the feel of your fingers. So you can close your eyes and do it with me now. And when you're focusing on this tiny part of your body, you're allowing your brain to rest, and you will feel a drop in your energy, in your intensity. And that is so easy. You can do that in the car, in the line at the supermarket, at work. If somebody's bothering you, the more you practice, the more you're going to be able to just focus on what you need to focus. That's what if you can't do the meditation. So the last, we've got these 6 slides. Sorry, the 6 steps to stay in action. What do you really want? Notice your patterns and stop them. This is going to be so cool for you to do this rubbing of your fingers. And you can also rub your hands. When you notice yourself starting to sabotage, when you get into that negative thinking, just stop. And what would the person I'm becoming do right now? and then choose that and start taking action towards that and get support. It doesn't have to be me. It could be somebody else. So let me ask you a question. Have you enjoyed the information so far? If you could completely rewire your limits whilst dropping your adoptee identity and learn to consciously manifest your best life, what would you create? I'm going to stop this. And I've got a special offer for you, which is a one-to-one with me on Zoom, like we are now. I'm going to put the link in here, and I'll send it also on the email. If you want to be the first to get yourself a one-to-one with me, and it's actually not just one-to-one, it's two one-to-ones, where we can start discussing what it is that is stopping you, what it is that you want to create, and you know how your adoptee identity is preventing you from having the life that you desire. How is it just keeping you stuck? How's that ego keeping you on the same circle? I'd like to extend this invitation to you all to enjoy, or invite you to come and have a one-to-one with me, and we'll also bring in my spirit guides. They come in and I can tell you exactly one area that is held within your body that's stopping you from having this rich, rewarding life that you desire. So if that's something that is of interest to you, please click the link, the calendly.com info-1111. Let's have a chat. And it would be my honor to serve and support you further. Have you got any questions? And we've done quite well. It's 10 past the hour. We romped through. I know that was a lot to take in, and I'm just wondering how it's landed for you, and if you have any questions that I can answer here and now. Take a sip of water. You're most welcome, Tina. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope to see you on a Zoom with, for a one-to-one. You have a beautiful rest of your evening. I'm going to go and see what the kids have conjured up for the dinner. And look forward to speaking to you again. All right. Lots of love. Mwah.